lonesome. Until I first met you, I was lonesome. And when you came inside, dear, my heart grew light and this whole world seemed new to me. You're really swell, I have to admit you deserve expressions that really fit you. And so I've racked my brain hoping to explain all the things that you did to me. Amir, Mr. Shane, please let me explain. Amir, Mr. Shane, means you're grand. Amir, Mr. Shane, again I'll explain. It means you're the fairest in the land. It means you're the fairest. It means you're the fairest. It means you're the fairest in the land. It means you're the Shane means you're grand. Amir, Mr. Shane, again I'll explain. It means you're the fairest in the land.
Greetings from the Andrews sisters. I'm Patty.
I'm Maxine.
And I'm Laverne.
Say Bella, Bella, even Sevender bar. Each language only helps me tell you how grand you are. I've tried to explain. Amir, Mr. Shane, so kiss me, kiss me, kiss me. I say that you will understand.
But, you know, with paprika, just Play-Doh, chef's kiss, delicious.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, Mike. Yeah. I've had it many times.
Blue's the best.
Yeah, although every once in a while green is okay too.
Yeah, you can eat green if you're that kind of...
We're live.
Oh!
Hi, everybody.
How's it going?
Hey! Welcome back to another episode of That 20-Somethings Show. It is I, Sundance Streams, and we've got Pablo, And hey,
How's it going,
Linz.
guys?
You're
And
still streaming?
Linz.
Linz is currently streaming. That's why I had 0 things prepared for this stream, because I was watching her stream before ours. And
That's fair.
Hello, Pleasantly Purple. Thanks for popping in. How are you guys doing today? We ourselves are having a pretty decent day. I mean, I didn't really get to ask you about your day, Pablo, so you're more than welcome to comment on yours. But
I mean, I noticed I went down a belt notch, so I'm having a great day.
Do you ever have anything prepared? Matt, I am so glad you asked, because even though this is an exclamation point show, it is the first exclamation point show that I have full pages of notes, because I am so excited about what we're talking about today. I'm so pumped. You have no idea. I geeked out about this topic a little too hard, but you know, it is what it is. I'm super excited for it. In case you guys were blissfully unaware, today we're going to be talking about none other than our favorite conspiracy theories, and I'm so excited about it.
No, I am too. Just like you, I started writing down some notes, and I realized I had pages of that.
Hey, Amazing Skills, how you doing, man? Thanks for coming in, showing some love.
And you know the thing is,
also,
sorry, go ahead.
No, just real quick, I do want to thank. So since our last stream, we have Echo the author who has followed, and we also have Herbert Woodbury who has followed. And so thank you guys so much for those follows. I truly appreciate it. So thanks for dropping those follows and hanging out with us. But go ahead. What were you saying, Pablo?
Oh, I was gonna say, you know, with these theories, I probably should have told you, but I'm sure you know. A lot of these theories are things that maybe not so much that I subscribe to, but they definitely piqued my interest, and I wanted to go down that rabbit hole.
Oh yeah, of course. Just chilling in my dorm. Chilling in our dorm. Yeah, let's hear some conspiracy theories. I'm here for
Seriously,
it.
guys, if you get because I couldn't stick to just one, and I'm sure you didn't either, Jacob.
No, I definitely did not. I
There's so many we.
As long as there is no Jewish space laser conspiracy theory. Hey, that's not a theory. That's the truth.
That's only we won't touch that. But if we somehow talk about space Nazis, I feel like eventually we're gonna have to. But I won't. I told myself I wouldn't.
Wait. Are you not gonna talk about the space Nazis? Because
I'll briefly mention them.
I was about to say I'm ready.
They're just gonna be an honorable mention or dishonorable mention.
Yeah, absolutely.
But nothing in which I did some digging on. I just knew I probably would have taken over with that whole theory.
Absolutely. And guys, I would love to hear everybody in chat right now. I'd love to hear your favorite conspiracy theories as well. If they match up with ours, we'll get super excited about it. And if they don't, we're very excited anyway. Cancel.
You know what I'm here for? You know what I'm here for? I'm here for like the outlandish ones. You know, the ones that are just too far of a stretch. Those are the best.
Yeah, I have a couple.
You do?
I have a couple.
Good. I'm happy.
Actually, the primary one that I'm gonna be talking about is pretty far-fetched, and I'm here for it. Linz, thanks so much for the raid.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah, Amazing Skills. You know, I forgot about that. To be honest, I don't know how I forgot about it, but the whole world ending in 2012. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Maybe it was a typo. You know.
Yeah. Right.
Maybe that mine was dyslexic.
2021. That's what it is. Yeah, I get it. But thanks so much for the raid, Linz. I appreciate it. Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. Yeah, Hitler moved to Argentina, and
that was in my short list.
Yeah, right. That kind of stuff. Yeah, thanks so much. I appreciate it. But yeah, do you want to dive in? I'm super excited to talk about mine. So I'm like, I'm a little bit antsy.
Go for it.
Okay. So,
was it Dr. Herman? Go ahead.
Yeah, Dr. Herman. So, here's the thing. Mine is going to be a little bit to do with math. So,
ooh, okay.
If you're not math-minded, it's okay. I'll explain all the math to you. I'll break it down. It'll be great. Thanks so much for the lurk, Amazing Skills. Have a good lurk, and we promise to have absolutely no fun while you're gone.
Exactly.
But
This is my no fun face.
yeah, this is not fun anymore. But anyway, so it's gonna be not fun for people who don't like math, because I will be talking about math for a while. But my favorite conspiracy theory that I found is what's known as the phantom time hypothesis. And I'd love to know if any of you guys have heard of this, because I had not heard of it prior to like looking up conspiracy theories and stuff like that. I had never really heard of this one, and it really caught my attention. I was like, that's fantastic. So if you guys have heard of it, please drop it in chat. But it's the phantom,
I haven't.
It's the phantom time hypothesis. And so I want to start out by explaining what is believed. And then I'll tell you why they believe this. So it is believed by followers of the phantom time hypothesis that the Middle Ages never happened.
Okay. What?
Just nope, doesn't exist. In fact, from about what was it? It was from about 614 AD to 911 AD. Those years never existed. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. And here's why they think this. Okay. This is loosely thread together, and I'm in love with it. So during this time, during the time that doesn't exist, right?
Okay.
The people that would have existed in this time were specifically the Homan words. English language is hard. The Holy Roman Emperor Otto III, Pope Sylvester II, and the Byzantine Emperor Constantine VII. Okay? And these three people didn't like living in the 700s. They wanted to live in the thousands.
What? Okay.
Because it's a round number.
Uh-huh.
And because it sounds cooler. So they made up 300 years of history in order to put themselves in the thousands instead.
You know what? Fuck what people think about this or not. I want to see this as a show. Like, I want to see this as a TV series.
So right. They're like,
can you imagine being
what?
like, it's back in time. It's that setting, but somehow he hires this team of writers and they have like a writer's room. Dude, I want to see this happen.
Right? And so they made up the Middle Ages in order to, live in the thousands. And here's the reason. Because we have a ton of written history about the Middle Ages, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the belief is that all of that was obviously fabricated. It was all fictitious. And there are two things that make everybody very convinced about this, and the math on this one got me. I was like, oh. So, hear me out. We're going to prove this conspiracy theory here.
Okay.
So the first part that leads people to believe that the period of time from 614 to 911, which is a terrible number to bring up in conspiracy theories, but we're here for it.
I actually didn't want to touch that one.
Yeah. From 614 AD to 911 AD, they believe that it didn't exist because although we have a ton of written history, there is very little archaeological evidence of that 300-year span. There's very little archaeological evidence. So when you dig and when you find these artifacts and stuff, most of it either predates or is after that period, but there's this gap in time.
Yeah.
So that makes people go, well, obviously it didn't exist. Okay? So that's the first part. Now, The second part, here, just hop on this train with me.
I'm here, man. I'm here.
Calendars. Okay?
Okay.
So, I just want to give a basic understanding of the way a calendar currently works. So, the way we have our calendar is because the Earth takes 365.24219 days for a complete year.
Okay.
That's the Earth's rotation for a full year. It's 365.24219, which we, on our calendars, round up to 365.25. So it's 365 and a quarter, which means that
Okay.
every 4 years we have a leap year.
Yes.
Okay, cool. The problem with this is that we round up. So
Okay.
each one of those years is actually 0.00781 days less than the way we actually calculate it.
Okay.
Okay? That means that around every 128 years, we have accumulated an extra day. Okay?
Yeah.
Just math here. Just so we
Okay.
have, if we were to calculate for starting now a year or 128 years. Oh, you have heard this one? That's great, Linz. So if we were to calculate 128 years using our leap year system and everything, at the very end of it, we would actually have one extra day. Now, the way we do this in our calendar system now that it's...
Okay.
Oh, I just lost everything, sorry. Now that it's been figured out and everything that's what's going wrong, is ever meteorologist I work with gets really into this one. Yeah, right?
I bet
Exactly.
they do.
So that means that since we figured that out, what we do is every 4 years we add that day for leap year, but then every 400 years we subtract a day to get us back even. It's fine. We're all good now that we understand this. However, that calendar system wasn't invented until 1582 AD. 1582 AD. And they fixed it, predating it all the way back to 45 BC. Okay? When the calendar started in their
Okay.
mind. Okay. So the Julian calendar didn't account for that from 45 BC to 1582 AD, and then they fixed it. And that amount of time is 1,627 years. So if you divide that by 128, it's approximately 13. 13 extra days is what we were supposed to have.
Okay.
But when they got done fixing it, they realized that instead of 13 extra days, we only had 10 extra days. So there was a period of time of about 300 and... what did I say? It was 347 years that was unexpectedly not calculated.
Okay.
So when they did this, isn't there something about it being divisible by 100? It's not a leap year? Perhaps. I'm not sure. Well, that doesn't make sense because 400 is divisible by 4 and by 100. So it would be a leap year. So I don't know about that, Matt. But the way this works is at the end of it, they were supposed to have 13 extra days. Yeah, I think it's 400. Anyway, they were only off by 10 days, which means that 347 years were just missing and uncalculated. And so that is the pure reason why this conspiracy theory holds up. Now, do you want me to ruin it for you, or do you not?
Go for it.
Okay, I'm ruining it for you. When the Julian calendar was calculated and corrected in 1582 AD, most people thought that they were correcting it back to 45 BC, but they weren't. They were not correcting it back to 45 BC. They were correcting it to somewhere around the 200s or 300s AD. And so that's where that 300 years comes from.
Yeah.
But people assumed for the longest time that they corrected it all the way back from 45 AD, or BC, I should say. And so people are like, where did these 300 years go? It's just because, they don't know when it was calculated from. But I love this conspiracy theory because it really has people hooked. They're like, 300 years just gone? Yes.
Just when you gave the spoiler alert, Matt just said hashtag fuck me up.
Hashtag fuck me up. Yeah, but I love that conspiracy theory because of math and because I genuinely like to believe that the Middle Ages were just a fiction, like a novel-style set of history that never existed.
I want that show!
Right? The other reason that this is totally false is because if the Holy Roman Emperor Otto III, Pope Sylvester II, and the Byzantine Emperor Constantine VII decided that they wanted 300 years to just appear out of nowhere, they would have also had to convince the Mongolian Empire and the Qing dynasty or whatever dynasty was around then. I can't remember. I'm a terrible history person. Oh well.
Okay. I don't expect you to.
Basically, all of these different parts of history around the globe would have had to line up with that, and they don't at all. It's specifically the European Middle Ages that just they think disappeared. And so I think that's hilarious. I'm having a real issue with Streamlabs right now.
Why? What's up?
For some unknown reason, it keeps putting weird symbols right before all of my things, and I'm very confused about it. So if anybody has,
it's a hidden message.
It's got to be. But if anybody has
New conspiracy.
some sort of solution for that, I don't know. I saw Robin Hood. That's video evidence. Yep, exactly.
Was it Disney's Robin Hood? Because that's the only one I'll accept.
No, it was Men in Tights.
Oh, that's the other one I'll accept.
I gotta love that, man. But so yeah, that is my preliminary conspiracy theory. So I'm glad that you've heard of it, Linz. That made my day. I don't know.
Mine.
Go ahead, Pop.
Mine was one that I don't subscribe to it, but it definitely piqued my interest.
You don't
which was
subscribe to it.
I don't subscribe to it now.
Wow. What a Gen Z way of saying something. I don't believe in it, maybe is the words you were looking for, but I don't subscribe to that.
I don't know where that came from. I'm so
like
sorry. But it started off with one that was, did William Shakespeare actually exist? And that piqued my interest right there. I was like, okay, let's go. And halfway through it, it kind of turned into a different rabbit hole that I went in. And it was that like he didn't write all, like it was a pen name shared by a bunch of different writers, and like or if, he collaborated with such and such. And I thought, okay, that's pretty cool. So I went down that rabbit hole. And because like it's okay, I'll tell you from the start. I went with did William Shakespeare really exist?
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I was like, all right, I'm gonna ride this train. And I guess they raised a couple like valid points, right? Where they say, okay, sure, he's a very well learned man, and very intellectual, from what you read in his plays. But when it comes down to it, oh my God, hold on, what am I doing? I was gonna do this whole thing today.
Yeah, come on now, Pablo. Pablo's
So-
gotta get his green screen act together, like.
I'm sorry, I was just so excited about this one that I just completely forgot about the whole imagery thing.
It's okay.
Um, yeah, there we go.
Ah, now we're
There
in
we
a
go.
Victorian tavern. In a
Now we have
Victorian
a
inn. That's what it is.
we have a nice little setting. So where was I? So oh yeah, they said that him being a son of a glover, who makes gloves, rightfully, um, like he wouldn't have such well-rounded knowledge.
I'm
But all
sorry
these
to interrupt
cultures,
you.
customs, and
Sorry to interrupt you, but that definitely sounds like a Shakespearean insult. You son of a Glover. Like,
you son, you son of a glover, I butt my thumb at thee.
okay, continue. I
But anyway,
apologize.
but they're talking about how he wouldn't have like such a well-rounded knowledge on all these different cultures and customs and the inner workings of those cultures royalties and stuff, which I'm like, okay, sure, uh, I'll get on board right, so far. And it's said that there like no existing, and that's, or no surviving, yeah, no surviving records of him being in school, which it's been so long. And I'm like, I'm sure records can be lost in that amount of time. I get that, yeah. um but then then they went on to like all these other, dude, they started like ripping him a new one, saying, like, looking at his handwriting and saying, just we think he may have been illiterate. There are like 20 different ways that he spelled his name, or like like you saw like some of his manuscripts and it looked like, I don't know, it just looked like a bunch of scribbles.
Yikes.
But but I was like, damn, these guys are like really laying it on there.
That's
They're
crazy.
tearing him up. But then they started saying, like, like some of these signatures don't even look the same. And and so like that did make me wonder, okay, maybe something was, I don't know, maybe I want to say, like, maybe he was drunk, or maybe some other people were like, going in as, you know a fake William Shakespeare. But it did raise a couple flags for me, and I was like, okay, I guess I can, I guess I can follow this train for a bit.
Right.
And yeah, no, but just that was just kind of crazy. And what was the other thing? Uh oh, okay, so then they started going off with like um other theories that some other great writers were probably the real William Shakespeare. Like one of them was for Sir Francis Bacon, whom, I'm gonna tell you guys right off the bat, I'm not I'm not a well learned English student. I don't read the works of Sir Francis Bacon, so I'm not gonna say that my credentials are the best here. So
Right.
um but at the time he was known as, being a very, intelligent, well learned man. And they were talking about how, his writing was very similar to William Shakespeare's. And how at that time it would have been considered like beneath him if he wrote a play for like the common people, the common folk. So I guess, I was like, all right, I guess I could follow that. You could use a pen name like William Shakespeare and write, these plays that you want to do for the common folk. I get that. But I think, from what I gathered, was that it was disproven that he was the real Shakespeare. And oh, something funny, not funny, but like something weird, but that caught my eye, is that his they said that his tomb was cursed. This is a total side thing, but
Shakespeare's?
yeah, they said that his grave was cursed, and on the epitaph it said, cursed be the bones that move mine, or something like that. Because back then they would dig up the bodies and, like, dispose of them to make room for new bodies. So when like an academic group went to go inspect the grave, just like research it, they found it without a head.
Ooh.
Yeah, no,
Terrifying.
that's a whole other thing I'd like to look into, because that's kind of cool.
No
But
dental records.
no dental records, exactly. um
Yeah, because they had dental records in Shakespeare's time.
they were like, aha, this molar definitely will, I remember this.
I can place a molar anywhere.
But oh, so yeah, then there was like another, what was it, another writer, I think it was in English, or another royal, or something. But it says, Edward de Vere. I had no idea who this guy is. but like he was also kind of a writer at that time, and
Yeah.
it kind of fit with his knowledge of other cultures and stuff because he traveled intensively to Italy, and you know how a lot of the settings are from Italy, and he was like he knew how like the government worked there. He knew how he knew like the customs uh and well like all these things like we're starting to like lead up to saying yeah, okay, I could see that being him, but the only thing is um he died. What was it? What year was it? He died in 1604. So that's well before more of it. More of William's plays were being done.
That's true. Yeah.
So like that was debunked. Uh, there's like a whole other train here where they said another playwright called Philip. No, not Philip. Sorry, Christopher Marlowe. I was thinking back to like the Maltese Falcon.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like a playwright. This one was kind of cool that I thought was like the one that really jumped out at me was the that he was a spy for the Russian government.
Wait, who was
Christopher
Marlowe?
Marlowe, the playwright, was a spy for the Russian government,
Huh.
and he was being accused at that time for like tempting the Christian people into atheism, right? And so he would have been tried and executed. So the wild theory that these people have, which I honestly want to see this as a movie, dude. Like the wild theory these people had was that he faked his own death and started like went underground and started living off as someone else and started using a pen name as William Shakespeare because when he actually when they say he died, which by the way was February 26th, my birthday, but but like 2 weeks later, 2 weeks after his death was around the time of like the first mention of William Shakespeare as a writer.
Huh.
And not only that, like I thought this like this one was the one that I was subscribing more to, but more because I really want to see a story made out of it.
Yeah.
But they were born like 2 months apart, but like that differentiation between the time of his death and Shakespeare's like surfacing into the limelight was that they have similar writings and passages and all these different things. For example, Marlowe's. This is from a play called The Jew of Malta, and I want you're a Shakespeare reader, you're a
Yeah.
Shakespeare connoisseur. By like by my standards, you're a Shakespeare connoisseur.
Yes.
So so I'm gonna read you this passage, and you tell me what it sounds like, okay?
Okay.
It says, "But stay, what star shines yonder in the east? The lodestar of my life, if Abigail."
Okay. I mean, it sounds like. What do you? What? I guess.
It's
What are you asking me?
So this is a character called Barabbas who's talking to this woman who's Abigail,
Yeah.
and she's in a balcony above him, and he
Yeah.
says, "But stay, what star shines yonder in the east? The lodestar of my life, if Abigail." And they started comparing those to but soft, what light through yonder window breaks. It
Yeah.
is the east, and Juliet is the sun.
Yeah.
And again
Sounds
with the whole
exactly
balcony.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
for a moment I thought you were actually I don't know why, but you confused me into believing that you were actually reading Shakespeare. So
oh no.
I was
So you-
very confused for a moment because I was like, yeah, but I don't remember any play that's from. So I thought that's what you were asking me, but it
No.
It definitely sounded like Shakespeare. It sounded like the Juliet balcony scene,
Right. But me, I always play devil's advocate, me. So like my argument to that would be, like all artists borrow from other artists.
No,
That's
they steal,
that
and you know
they
it.
steal. Okay, yeah. A good artist, was it? A good artist borrows, a great artist steals.
Yeah.
So all great artists were stealing. Were stealing even way back in the day. So that's the way I was seeing, and I'm like that makes the most sense to me.
Yeah, and they're like,
Though-
hey, well, hell, if it worked for Shakespeare.
Yeah. Though I would love to see this as a movie. Like,
Yeah,
I think
no.
it lends itself to a lot of great things.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to comment on the fact that Pleasantly Purple said England right about the time that we were talking about dental records, and I think that was a sly comment. And I just wanted to put that out there.
If anything can look more like a fingerprint, it could be your smile.
True. Everybody. This tooth.
All right, we're losing our UK audience right now.
There they go. We're canceled in the UK. Sorry.
That's it.
Sorry, folks. but when I steal, it's plagiarism, and I get an F. Yeah,
Right.
You know, that's because teachers don't create artists. Teachers create robots.
Exactly.
Sorry to all the teachers out there. Not my mother, who homeschooled me for my entire life.
But the other
She
teachers.
clearly didn't create a robot. Otherwise, this would be very weird. But, yeah, all the other teachers. Anyway. Yeah.
I would have a conversation with a machine.
Hey, I mean, once a robot arm touched the I am not a robot button, all hell broke loose. Like,
Dude, like I do that already. Like I kid you not. I'm not lying to you, but at work we have an elevator, and it's the Otis brand. I talk to Otis, Jacob. I have conversations with Otis if I'm alone in the elevator.
Pablo, you need to stop. So Matt says, can we talk about the Avril Lavigne conspiracy where she was replaced by a lookalike because she died in 2003?
What? I did not know this.
Idea what
I was
that
not aware of this one.
I wasn't aware of that one either. To date myself a little bit, I was aware that Britney Spears was covering up all of George W. Bush's mistakes.
I remember that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, I remember that one. But who is this Avril Lavigne girl?
She's a singer, Jacob.
I know. But like I'm talking about Britney Spears, so give me a minute to catch up to Avril Lavigne.
Gotcha.
No, but I had never heard that she died in 2003 and was replaced by a lookalike. That's pretty.
Say more of this.
Yeah, say more of this. She said, "See you later, boys. I'm dead." Oh, that was great. That was perfect timing on my end, Linz. Oh.
You good?
Yeah, I'm fine. That just cracked me up. I live for moments like that. But yeah, tell me more about this conspiracy theory. Are those all the facts, Matt? That she was just replaced by a lookalike, or how do we know this? What
Fix or it didn't happen.
Where's the proof? Yeah, I don't know much, but apparently she died, and they replaced her because she made too much money. Oh, okay.
Okay.
I have a few. Speaking of which, I have a few theories that are kind of similar to that.
Oh, okay. Real quick, because I was almost done with the Shakespeare thing.
Oh,
but
I'm sorry. I thought you were finished.
It's all right.
Go ahead,
No, it's okay. Later on, like, was it the 19th century? I think I wrote it down. But anyway, they got this. They found this way of analyzing people's writing called stylometry, in which they find different characteristics. I mean, similar characteristics in each writer's works. Like for example, they'll look at Shakespeare's, his own special way of writing.
Yeah, like
and they find all these.
How did they look at his vocabulary and be like, yeah,
Right.
this is only Shakespeare? Like, but yeah, I get what you
like,
mean.
They find all these different patterns and all these different consistencies. And they did find that he did indeed write his own plays, which, no, it wasn't a big spoiler.
What? No way.
But it was still a fun trip. But the funner thing, the funner thing was that that he collaborated a lot with other writers, and that's why people were thinking all these different things and pinning them to those other writers. Because I only wrote down a few, because Marlowe, he actually collaborated with him on Henry VI, and it was for like Act 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Like, he definitely did that, and that's what the historians were saying, that William Shakespeare collaborated with all these different writers all the time.
Duh.
So yeah, exactly.
In my opinion, I'm like, of course. Do you know the rate of speed at which he pumped out 5-hour-long plays?
It's a lot of cocaine.
Yes, seriously. Do you know how hard that would be to do alone? Like, yeah, I bet he did collaborate, because how else would he have done that? Like, I couldn't imagine writing Macbeth alone
Oh no!
in 5 years, let alone the amount of time he took to
I
write it.
killed myself halfway through.
Yeah, that's why all of his plays are about death, because he wanted to kill himself. No, but he collaborated.
Oh well.
So it's fine. Oh Will. But yeah, no kidding, he collaborated. Vaccine.
Vaccine.
Yeah, we've got tons of political conspiracy theories that we could talk about for sure. I stayed away
Like the
from
reptilian people.
I-
Yeah, no, I did too.
I stayed away from them a little bit, although you brought up the last one that I was going to talk about just now.
Oh, really? I'm sorry.
reptilians.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, you're
No,
good.
sorry. I didn't touch it at all.
No, you're good. But I did want to talk about some conspiracy theories that have to do with money and stuff like that. But before we do that, it is
Money, greed, and murder.
money, greed, and murder. Hopefully, no murder, actually, because it's it's like present day conspiracy theories, and there's no
Oh.
murder involved.
Mhm.
But before I get into all of that, it is time for Pablo and I's favorite segment of the day.
Oh,
It is
Yeah,
time
sorry,
for
I'll
the
start
segment
ducking.
called On This Day in History. On this day in 1964, the U.S. Embassy in Moscow is stoned by Chinese and Vietnamese students.
whoa.
And that was On This Day in History. Thank you guys so much for that little segment. That was fun. But anyway,
I did not know that before today.
yeah, I didn't know that before today either. It was a fun little coincidence.
Yeah.
So this was actually not in research for conspiracy theories. This was a couple weeks ago. Was that Dylan?
No, I almost.
How did
I
you
considered
do that, Matt? You predicted right when they were going to bring up our YouTube link where you can go find Dylan. That's great.
I considered doing Dylan, but I realized I lost the wig, and plus it was like the '60s, so I figured it'd be nicer having a '60s stoner there.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, of course.
But I'll bring him back someday.
So anyway, I didn't find these conspiracy theories.
They found you.
Yeah, pretty much. I didn't find them doing research for today or anything. I actually found them just in my own spare free time, just having fun on YouTube. And I found a huge conspiracy theory on Jeopardy that I wholeheartedly believe.
I'm here for this. Go ahead.
I 100% entirely believe this conspiracy theory. So here it is. Jeopardy actually kicked off two of its best contestants.
Okay.
And forced them to lose. Forcibly removed them from the game.
Ooh. Okay.
Okay.
Say more of this.
Okay, cool. So, as we know, Jeopardy, hi guys, sorry about that little blip. I think we're back. Hopefully we're back. Matt, Linz, are we back? Are we there? I think so. I think we are here. I think all is well. It looks to me like we are. Yes, excellent. Wonderful. Okay, I should be back now. I should have no more problems. So I do want to tell you that multiple streamers have talked on stream about how Streamlabs OBS has crashed on them. So if that happens again, that's what's happening to me. Streamlabs just crashed. So I hope that doesn't happen again. Are we back though? We should be back fully now. I think. I hope.
Everybody who's here, can you just say present real quick?
Can I get a show of hands? Who's in chat right now?
Here, I got it. So say present and your favorite brand of cereal. I need some more cereal, so I'm gonna be shopping soon.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, I just don't know what to get.
Yes, we're back. Okay, cool. Okay, I think we're good.
Cool.
They didn't say present in their favorite brand of cereal, but
That's
fine.
all right. That's fine.
That's totally okay. Okay, so I think we're back. Anyway, if you're about to talk shit about James, I'm gonna fight. Matt, no, I am not. Matt's favorite type of cereal is Frosted Cheerios.
My man.
So we're here for it. Yeah.
So good right now, actually.
They do. Actually, my favorite is Reese's Puffs cereal solely because of the commercials.
Oh, those hype them up.
They did. But let's not get into that because we're talking about conspiracies.
Yes.
This show never derails like that, Pablo. Let's keep it together.
I know. What is like? It's not like we're talking about Spy Kids or anything.
Right? It's like Cheerios, but with more sugar. It's so true. It's like Cheerios, but more bearable as a child. So anyway, okay. Now that we're back, and if that happens again, I will try my best to get it back up. So don't fret. Just hang out with us, and we'll be back. Present Cocoa Pebbles. Excellent. That's awesome. I feel like there's just a ton of stream lag, which might be the case, but that's okay.
We can deal with it.
Not too worried about it. Hey, Pianist Mike.
Pianist Mike.
What's up? Thanks for dropping by. We are talking about our favorite conspiracy theories, and currently I am about to talk about a conspiracy theory that I am 100% behind. The world is flat. No, I'm just kidding.
I knew it!
No, but I am 100% behind this conspiracy theory that Jeopardy has actually forcibly removed 2 of its best players.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So that's what we're about to start talking about. But if you have a favorite conspiracy theory, please drop it in chat. I'd love to hear about it. And if Pablo and I don't know what it is, then we'd love to talk about it with you and get some information on that.
Oh yeah, I'm here for this.
Yeah. So, Jeopardy forcibly removed 2 of its best players. Now, James, or Matt, James, what's his last name? What is James's last name? I forget. We didn't land on the moon. The moon landed on us.
Real quick, Matt says, I can't type my favorite if the FBI is watching. That's okay, Matt. Give us your favorite non-brand.
Yes.
Your favorite generic.
Yes, exactly. Holzhauer. Thank you very much. I just totally spaced his last name. But yes, he is the second best. Well, no, not the second best, as in, like, ranking, but the second chronologically best player on Jeopardy. The first was Ken Jennings, who broke all kinds of records, right?
Okay.
Do you remember watching Ken Jennings on Jeopardy?
I don't remember.
Or was I the only one who watched Jeopardy for pleasure growing up?
No, I watched Jeopardy. I just didn't.
Or was that just me?
I'm aware of what the show is.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So
I've seen my share.
Ken Jennings was huge on Jeopardy. It boosted their ratings, and you were homeschooled, so yeah, exactly. No, but Ken Jennings boosted their ratings, was a huge success on Jeopardy, and was immensely good at the game and popular for being good at the game. And then James Holzhauer came in and destroyed his records. Destroyed them. Like, completely and entirely. Insane.
Okay.
So, Ken Jennings is number 1, and James Holzhauer is number 2. The two greatest Jeopardy players of all time. So, let's talk about it. Ken Jennings went on a huge winning streak, right? And I don't remember the exact numbers, but I'm pretty sure he became a millionaire on Jeopardy, which is pretty awesome. James ended up becoming almost a 3 millionaire because destroyed records. But I'm pretty sure that Ken Jennings became a millionaire. And it just was insane. And then in a crazy turn of events, there was a game that he played, and almost nobody on the game got any questions right. And he ended up losing finally after a like 70 game winning streak or something like that. He ended up losing, and like the person who won just barely snuck in, and it was very it was just very interesting. So that's the first one. And then James like trained to be a Jeopardy player. Like, he had a completely new strategy when it came to Jeopardy. So you know how Jeopardy works with the top questions on the board are the easiest questions and the lowest value, and then as you go down the category, James was a sports gambler, which ties into how well he
those are the
did.
serious ones.
Yeah, right. But so the top questions are the easiest, but also least valuable questions.
Yeah.
And then as you work your way down, they get a little bit harder, but they also get a little bit more valuable. Most players on Jeopardy will find a category that they like, and they'll run it down. And so they'll ask for the top question first, and then the next, and then the next, and then the next, and then the next, if they can keep buzzing in and answering. That's the traditional Jeopardy strategy.
Yeah.
James, on the other hand, had a much better strategy. He went bottom row first, and he went in rows instead of columns. So he trained in scattered trivia. Because, and when he was training for Jeopardy, he would spin a wheel and answer a question from that category, whatever the wheel landed on.
Yeah.
He didn't train in categories like most people do.
Right.
So James would take out all of the high value questions in scattered orders, and he would jump around the board and not stay in one column.
Okay.
And that did two things for him. Number one, it made it so that all of the hard questions he got out of the way quickly, and if he was able to answer them, which 97% of the time he was, if he was able to answer them, then he would rack up a huge earning.
Yeah.
And even if he wasn't able to answer them, the other players couldn't catch up because the only questions that were available were the lower level questions.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
And he was a huge gambler on Daily Double, which is what Matt is talking about right now. He tried to get more money than find Daily Jeopardy, or Double Jeopardy, yeah. So on the Double Jeopardy ones, you can gamble a certain amount of money, right? He always gambled the most. And once again, he had a I think it was like 97.2% accuracy.
Wow.
Yeah. There's a 97.2% accuracy. Ken Jennings, who was fantastic at the game, had a 92% accuracy. But James Holzhauer had a 97.2. That extra 5.2% meant a whole lot.
Yeah.
And so when it came to these daily doubles, he would bet huge. And even if he wasn't able to answer the question in that, 2.8% of the time, if he wasn't able to answer the question, he was still able to come back ahead using his strategy. I think Game Theory did a whole video about James. Yeah, they did. That's actually what I'm quoting right now. Did they do like an all-star showdown? And no. So, well, they might have. They might have done that, but the specific instances that I'm talking about are like Ken Jennings even beat a robot. I just want to talk about that. Ken Jennings beat AI.
That's crazy.
Just a thing that happened. So anyway, Ken Jennings, as I said, his happening, and we're back.
Woo! Okay. Let's try this one more time.
Yeah. There's a conspiracy theory that I have. I have a conspiracy theory that the university is trying to not let me stream anymore, which sucks.
We must know something.
We must know something. No.
We're making somebody very nervous.
But hopefully we're back. If you guys are there, thank you so much for your patience with us. My entire computer lost internet. Matt, the man is trying to censor you. Yeah.
Damn it.
It's Jeopardy. They know. They know I'm talking about.
They're on to us.
Yay! Okay, I'm glad that we're back, guys. I'm sorry about that. It just, woo, you know, it's one of those days, I guess. My entire computer, all of a sudden I got a notification that was like, you lost internet. And I was like, what? How can I just lose it? It's plugged into the wall. And then
it was here just a second ago.
Just a second ago. Keep your eye on it. No, but how can I just lose it? And then all of a sudden, everything on my computer froze and nothing existed anymore. And I was like, oh, this is fun. This is a fun thing that's going to happen.
Hey, when I freeze, do I ever have like a funny face?
More often than not. Yeah.
Okay, good. Because on my end, that's all that happens, and I love it. I hate that we're frozen, but
yeah,
I love
that it's a funny face. You know, it's like when you pause a DVD just right at the right.
Oh
moment.
yeah.
Anyway, you always have a funny face, Pablo.
So Jeopardy.
So Jeopardy. So anyway, yeah, I was talking about Jeopardy and how at least he loves you.
I love you too, Matt.
But anyway, so the thing with James is he had this interesting strategy. I told you about the daily doubles. I told you about his strategy of going for the hard questions first. He won a ton, and like I said, he had a 97.2% accuracy when it came to answering questions.
Yes.
And so then what happened was they have a scoring system for how hard a game of Jeopardy is, and it's purely like speculative. Because how do you say, well, this piece of trivia is harder to know than this piece of trivia? Like it's a very speculative science, and so the way they rate it is. Of all of the questions, how many of those questions were answered correctly?
All right.
Right? And so of all the questions in a game, most games are, right in the 70% range. Well, in the last week of James Holzhauer's run, he had 2 games where the difficulty score was 48%, which means that nobody knew the answers. And the only person who knew the answers was James.
Yeah.
And so, they made it difficult for him, and he was still winning. And so his final game, suspiciously, everybody knew the answers. In fact, every question on the board was answered correctly. And he was up against a person who wrote their doctoral thesis on Jeopardy questions.
What?
And majored in Shakespeare Lit, and the final Jeopardy question was about Shakespeare.
Get out of here.
Yeah. So that's who he was up against.
Okay.
And so
wait. Okay. I need to know this. I don't know if you found this in your diggings or what have you, but what did James do? Like, what was his profession?
He was
what's his background?
Gambler.
So just strictly sports gambler.
Yeah, and he was really good at it.
Damn.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah. And then he won almost $3 million on Jeopardy.
Yeah.
But he looked to be like 28 years old or something stupid.
What?
Like, he's young as hell. And so, yeah.
I'm almost 26 and I just ate a Cheerio off the ground.
Facts, though. So I want to come back to that whole.
Can we make that a quote, Matt? By the way.
Yeah, I'm almost 20. All right,
I'm almost 26, and I just ate a Cheerio off the ground.
That's fantastic. Speaking of which, when we come back, I do want to thank you so much, Matt.
God bless you, Matt. Thank you.
I do want to roll back to our 20-somethings because it's pertinent to a conversation that I'm going to have later. So just keep that in mind. I'm way ahead of you. Yeah, thanks.
I love this. Give him an extra $1.
Yeah, right? But give him an extra $1. I'm going to pay him 3 times more than he's currently being paid.
It's from Young Frankenstein.
Yes. But anyway. So, that's true. I forgot I was playing Minecraft when that happened. But anyway. So, I firmly believe that Jeopardy employed 2 strategies. Because number 1, Jeopardy, above anything else, like anything in the entertainment industry, is still a business. Okay? Yeah. They get paid based off of advertisements.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem with Jeopardy is shows like that sell advertisements months in advance. So they can't predict when a fan favorite is going to be on the show.
Gotcha.
They can't predict their ratings in 4 months. They can't predict what those might be. So the fact that Ken Jennings and James Holzhauer boosted their ratings doesn't necessarily mean that they were making more money off of them. The big game, which is the monetized way of saying the Super Bowl. But I'm not saying anything negative about it. The Super Bowl.
That's that sports holiday that just happened.
Yeah, that
right?
sports holiday sells
spurts.
millions. I would hazard to guess billions of dollars in advertising because they know what their ratings for the Super Bowl are going to be.
They know what they're getting.
They know that America loves the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They're not asking. They know. So, but Jeopardy, unfortunately, doesn't know that. Jeopardy doesn't know when somebody like James Holzhauer is going to boost their views. And so they sell a certain they sell a certain amount of advertising, and that's the money that they make as a show. Now, when somebody starts coming in and you're not getting any more revenue, but they have doubled the earnings of the highest earning player in the game, you have to deal with that.
Yeah.
And you don't necessarily want him to be on the show anymore. So it is my firm belief that don't kill me, the man, but it is my firm belief that Jeopardy employed a strategy to kick James Holzhauer off. And Ken Jennings as well. Ken Jennings was not as quick and as trained at trivia as James Holzhauer was. And so when they made the questions very difficult for Ken Jennings, somebody else managed to squeak by and win, and they kicked Ken Jennings off in that way. When they tried to make it difficult for James Holzhauer, he actually exceeded their expectations, and so the only way that they could get him kicked off was to completely level the playing field and ask people, what color is the sky? Just stupid easy questions that everybody knew, which is why the easiest game of Jeopardy ever played, ever rated in history, is the episode of Jeopardy that James Holzhauer is eliminated.
Gotcha.
That's my Jeopardy conspiracy theory, and I firmly believe that Jeopardy manipulated their game to get him and Ken Jennings kicked off.
Yeah, and I honestly, I could follow that. I could get behind that.
Yeah, and there are no rules against that. I mean, it's their show; they can do what they want.
Right? No,
yeah. Also, James lost on the day where he would have passed Ken Jennings as all-time winner. Really? I didn't know. That's cool. I thought I thought that he did pass Ken Jennings as all-time winner. I thought that James was better because he doubled the average score, I think, for each round. sometimes he even ended up tripling it. It was crazy. Like the average score was somewhere around 20,000, and he ended up some days getting like $94,000 on Jeopardy just for that one episode, which is crazy. But yeah, I could be wrong, but I thought he definitely. Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that's right. He made almost as much as Ken, but only in 1/3 of the time. So again, huge. I mean, he's a sports gambler. He's used to betting big. And so, thank you very much for those stats. So yeah, I definitely.
Matt, you're on it.
That. Yeah, thanks so much, Matt. I appreciate it.
You're the real
Best
MVP.
mod ever. He's the MOAM. He's the MOAM. He's the mod of all mods.
Yes. The MOAM.
The
I like
MOAM.
that.
Or if we want to shorten it, if we want to shorten it, we could. Matt is Amazon Stats. Yeah.
That's my conspiracy.
Matt needs to be on Jeopardy. If the Jeopardy questions were about Jeopardy, Matt would know. Like, Matt...
Yes, I'll take Jeopardy for 400, please.
But I want to shorten mod of all mods to just mod of mods, and that way Matt can be mom. I would suck on Jeopardy. Yeah, so would I. But I really enjoy kids Jeopardy because I do pretty well.
I want to be the one adult,
kids
playing, against all these other kids, but I'm the most childish one.
And also still losing.
Yeah, that's an SNL sketch right there.
It is. I love that idea. So anyway, yes, that is my Jeopardy conspiracy theory, and I definitely think that it's real. Matt, you'd maybe get by on Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? Yes. Okay, sounds good. I think I would be fairly decent. I don't know that I could win $1 million at it, but I think I would be fairly decent at Who Wants to Be a Millionaire because I'm really good in multiple choice situations. Like, I've always tested well even when I don't know anything. I'm really good at multiple choice. So, I think that would be my show. Although, if I were really trying to win money, I would play something like Chain Reaction or Family Feud. Not that I have thought about this.
No, those are two shows I'd be definitely want to dive into.
I want to do Chain Reaction with you and Steven.
Oh my god, dude, we would obliterate everyone else.
Right?
Not to toot our own horns or anything, but I feel like we.
Oh yeah, we would do so
like
well.
we
and
could
if
put
there
up a
were
good
4,
fight.
it would be the 3 of us and Ramon, of course. But usually it's only the 3. So like those are the 3 that I would pick. No offense, Ramon. I know you watch, but sorry. I was actually talking about Ramon earlier today.
Oh.
Because we were in improv and.
Greg,
you
got to talk about Ramon. Then.
Yeah, and so naturally. I'm sorry, Matt.
Damn.
I don't know how good you would be at Chain Reaction. I have worked with these people for too long. And then Mike, or Mom
Pleasantly
pops up.
Purpose goes, fine.
Yeah, Mom pops up and she's like, fine, leave me out of this. Well, you would obviously be on Family Feud.
that makes sense.
I have saved you exclusively for that show. But anyway, I was talking about Ramon because we were in improv, and Greg was talking about how Ramon went to I.O. for and skipped the first 3 classes because we didn't need him. And
he was beyond that.
Yeah, he was beyond that. And then I was talking about Ramon because I'm like, I kind of want to see if I can go audition for improv in Chicago and do that kind of thing. Would you guys support me if I auditioned for improv in Chicago? Mom, would you support me?
Will they be Zoom shows?
Yeah, right. Do I have to go? I'm just kidding. I'd come watch after COVID. Woot woot. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, I'd go for a drink.
Yeah, not to watch you. I would sit with my back to the stage.
putting another dollar in the in the jukebox.
I'd be that asshole that always yells dumb stuff as suggestions. Dildo. Get out of here, guy.
Was that seen in Ted 2? 9/11. Can we get anything else? Hey, we're giving you gold, man.
Hey, we're giving you gold.
I thought the rule was yes and.
Right. That'd be awesome though. Yeah. So anyway, Pablo.
Yes.
I have heard that you have another conspiracy theory that you'd like to discuss.
I do. It's a brief one.
As long as the internet connection will allow, let's talk about it.
It's a brief one. But it was
Brief.
it originally
I'm a
caught my
boxer
attention
guy
when I was.
myself, but I like brief.
Get out of here. No. So my interest peaked when I first heard it in my music history class. I don't know, you remember David Resnick?
Yeah.
So, of course, he gave a good, very informational, very loaded history of music. And of course, if you're talking about history, you have to include some, conspiracy theories that, made some mark in history. And of course, one of them was the Paul is dead conspiracy. In the Beatles, there was this big conspiracy. I mean, there's still some to believe it.
So I had
that say
never heard of this conspiracy theory before. So I'd love
Wow,
to know if you guys
okay.
have heard of this conspiracy theory. I've never heard of it until now.
Right? No, like I hadn't heard. Wow, I know words. Hadn't heard of it until 2 years ago. Anybody smell toast?
Pablo?
Anyway, so I just want to change my background real quick.
Love it.
But there was this conspiracy in which all these hardcore fans were saying that Paul McCartney died in a car crash, but that the Beatles wanted to keep on going and continue playing as a group, so they got a double, or they got an imposter, if you will. But the thing was, yeah, totes sus. Soup
Paul is
suspish.
totes sus. Like
Soup suspish, bro.
Soup suspish. Anyway, so Paul.
Um,
Paul is an imposter.
So Paul is an imposter, because it started off with the rumor, and then what was it? I think like in the following year, there was I'm trying to get my songs like laid out. There was there was Revolution 9, in which I'm sure you've heard this one, where if you play it backwards, you can hear somebody saying was it "Turn Me On, Dead Man"?
Yes.
Yeah, you've heard that one. Sorry, I just got a text from Ramon. Oh, I'll read it later.
Is he watching? Is he like?
I don't know.
Jacob needs to shut.
I don't think he has Twitch.
Oh, that's okay.
Oh no, it's just a drink
It's
recipe.
a coincidence.
We were talking about gin and tonics earlier.
No, I love those backwards.
Yeah, no, dude,
theories.
I'm here for that. Do you ever just sit and watch like those videos when it says listen to this song backwards?
Yeah, and it's like, oh, they're worshiping Satan if you play it in reverse. And I'm like, first of all, if you're playing it in reverse, what are you doing? And second of all,
that's what I want to know. Like, who was the first person that said?
Discovered that? Like,
yo, if you play it backwards.
And how long did they have to sit there and play it backwards to find the one thing that vaguely sounds like something that is purely coincidental? But anyway, we'll continue talking about this conspiracy theory. Go on. So the Beatles have secret messages backwards.
So yeah,
in their songs.
the theory was that the Beatles were trying to, send out these cryptic messages through their music, through their art. And I honestly, I was here for the ride. So you know me, I humor all stuff like that.
Yeah.
But no, and like there's some other things where it started growing within the college populace. Yeah. So go figure that these college students who let's be honest, a good chunk of them were probably stoned out of their minds, saying there are these secret messages in the songs, and eventually
60s peace, oh hello.
Oh, marijuana.
Yeah.
But who are we?
I don't know.
But what was I saying? Oh yeah, so eventually they started requesting them in radio stations, saying, "Hey, you need to play this backwards." You know, like I know what I'm talking about, and so so you should play this backwards. And from then on, the rumor just exploded. It just started going everywhere. You know, like the '60s version of going viral. You know.
Yeah, whatever that was. They were the word about town. Oh.
Not the word. Heavens to Betsy. But I'm so sorry.
I love that.
But then, that's once the rumor started growing, that's when the hardcore fans really started to, want to tear everything apart, look deep into every detail. And, in Mexico, we have a saying, el que busca encuentra, meaning,
Ah, yes. El Cabuz
yes, thank you.
Cuenta, or whatever you just said.
From now on, that's how it's said.
Okay.
So, el que busca encuentra roughly translates to he who searches finds. So if you're actively searching for something, you're gonna find, what you want to find.
Yep.
And of course, like they started going into these crazy details. One sec, I got them right here. Okay, so there was this other song, Strawberry Fields Forever, in which they said that you could hear a voice. Like, I don't think this is if you're playing it backwards. I think like you hear it somewhere in the backing tracks, saying "I buried Paul."
Huh.
And yeah, like I honestly didn't quite catch it, but people were hearing, "I buried Paul." Abbey Road. I thought this one was interesting. Abbey Road. The picture. That we all recreate whenever we're crossing down the street.
Crossing a crosswalk. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So they were saying that the outfits that they had. Probably should have pulled it up. Now I'm a dingus. But anyway, you got John at front. He's wearing white, and so they think they associate it with like the preacher who's wearing all white, and it's gonna be like a funeral procession. So in the back, you've got some were saying that Ringo was the Undertaker in black. Then there was Paul, and then at way in the back was George. That they symbolized as the gravedigger, which I thought those two were kind of stretches for me. I mean, the black I get, but then I realized that Paul was in between them, so I was like, maybe it's like they're pallbearers and they're like they're carrying him because he's in between. And of course, Paul is the only one who's not wearing shoes, and his 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 legs were a different way. Like his pacing was different than theirs. Like right foot back.
Truly,
left foot
never
forward.
noticed all of this.
No, neither did I until they talked about like the whole Undertaker, gravedigger, preacher, and I was like,
Thank you
that's
so
a
much,
stretch.
Matt. Hey, thanks for the 5 bits too. Thanks so much, and enjoy.
Matt, thank you
enjoy
so
your
much.
Sleep. I appreciate you hanging in here.
Yes, thank you.
Everyone except me was stoned in the 60s. Yeah,
They say
pretty
if you
much.
remember the '60s, you weren't really there.
Never really lived through it, yeah. But yeah, thank you so much, Matt. Have a great night, man. Anyway.
Good night, Matt. But yeah, when I thought that's kind of a stretch, me, I like to look for other details that would make sense.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, the whole pallbearers thing, like I could see that. And I'm purposely saying pall bearers. Just but anyway, and then okay, this other one was the one that this detail was something that I took notes on from my music history class, in which David Resnick was saying that by looking at the artwork for Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Band, that's where they had like more of the other details, which he had like a patch on his shoulder. Later on, it was debunked by saying it was it like OPP, but it was but the way it was shown in the artwork was like OPD, which was like officially pronounced dead.
Yeah.
Or stuff like that. And then how you've got like how you had all these different artists in the background. Some were dead, some were not, and you have like the flower. This array of flowers at the bottom. That spell out Beatles, but they look like like funeral arrangements.
Yeah.
So they had like all these different details trying to say, oh, they're sending us these cryptic messages saying that Paul died. You know, there's a whole imposter situation going on, and I thought, you know,
Again, El Caboose Can Cuenta.
El Caboose can cuenta exactly. I want that on a T-shirt.
I truly don't know what you said, but I'm here for El Caboose Can Cuenta.
I'm here for it.
Okay.
But yes, and you know, Pleasantly Purple is right. You know, everybody but her was stoned in the '60s.
So you'll just find whatever you want.
You
to
find things.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. That's awesome. That's craziness.
Oh man.
Are you? Is that the end of that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean that was a sufficient conspiracy theory. Like if I didn't know any better, I'd believe it.
Yeah.
Just kidding. But with that, we are going to take just a short break, guys. I know we've had some internet issues and stuff, but that doesn't mean we've really had a break yet. So we're going to take just a short break, but we will be right back. Wait, hallucinations were common. Oh, yeah. Of course.
Yeah, that makes
It
sense.
was a crazy time, the 60s and 70s. It's ridiculous. But anyway, we're going to take just a short break. We will be right back after these messages. So I'm running a 60-second ad real quick.
Oh, an ad.
Yeah, we're making money.
What's it for?
I don't
Or
know.
do they like just pick a random one?
I don't know. Are you watching on stream?
Oh, I guess I could.
Is it working or am I dumb?
No, it's
It's
we're still on.
still going? Oh, that's
We're still on.
that's great. That's hilarious. It says that we're running an ad break.
That's funny. Oh well, you know, any kind of publicity is good publicity.
I love that. Well, thanks a lot.
It was nice having this breather and people seeing us behind the scenes.
This is the curtain has been.
Now I wish I would have done something like extravagant, just like get in a bathrobe, start getting a cigarette, have a monkey butler.
That's hilarious. It's like, guys, I really got a shit. Thanks. Thank God.
We have
like-
this seedy underlife, just going like, yeah, yo, pass the cocaine.
Right? I don't know.
How are we gonna get through the second half? Oh my god.
I don't even know what the point of that is. Then that doesn't make any sense. Cool. I guess I have to figure Twitch out.
That's okay. Well, we can jump in. We can jump back in if you want. So.
Yeah. Anyway.
Might as well.
Well, with that, we're gonna take a real quick break, and I'm gonna give you some music to listen to, instead of our moron selves just talking behind the scenes. So we'll be back after this short musical break.
Of all the boys I've known, and I've known some, until I first met you, I was lonesome. And when you came inside, dear, my heart grew light, and this whole world seemed new to me. You're really swell, I have to admit you deserve expressions that really fit you. And so I've racked my brain, hoping to explain all the things that you did to me. Amir Mr. Shane, please let me explain. Amir Mr. Shane means you're grand. Amir Mr. Shane, again I'll explain. It means you're the fairest in the land. It means you're the fairest. It means you're the fairest. It means you're the fairest in the land. the ball. Come here, Mr. Shane. Please let me explain. Come here, Mr. Shane. Means you're grand. Come here, Mr. Shane. Again, I'll explain. It means you're the fairest in the land.
Greetings from the Andrews sisters. I'm Patty.
I'm Maxine.
And I'm Laverne.
I could say Bella, Bella, even say Wunderbar. Each language only helps me tell you how grand you are. I've tried to explain. Me is Mr. Shane, so kiss me, kiss me, kiss me, so that you will understand.
Okay.
Hello,
Yes.
everybody, and welcome back. Linz, you gotta head out. Well, thanks so much. Thanks so much for hanging out.
It's nice having you, Linz.
Yeah, it was nice having you. Bye. It was nice seeing you. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Anyway, we are going to talk a little bit about some more fun conspiracy theories before we have to wrap this up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Pablo, you had some fun ones that you wanted to talk about, I know. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, why don't you go ahead and start? I might smell some Disney conspiracy theories coming out.
I can. Yes,
I would-
that's in the lineup.
I would
Here, let me
love-
switch my board.
Yeah.
I thought I'd switch my board for this.
Of course, of course.
DuckTales.
DuckTales.
Woo! So, yeah. No, but there are a few that I found on the internet, which, while
Whoa,
researching for.
You found them on the internet?
Yeah, so it must be
Then
true.
it must be true. Yeah.
But when I was like looking for all these different theories that we can talk about, of course, inevitably, on near the top, there were all these movie conspiracies, all these Disney conspiracies, and I was like, oh, I need to, I owe it to myself to just watch a few of these.
Right.
And I mean, these are pretty short and sweet, but well, not so sweet, but these are pretty short, and I thought it'd be kind of cool to mention.
Yeah.
There's one for cars. I don't know if you've heard this one. So let me know if any of you have heard any good Disney theories out there, or if there are any that I may have missed. Please mention them. I want to know more. But there's one for cars in which they say takes place in the future, and I've heard it two ways. Where it's
Cars?
yeah, that it's in a time where human civilization has been wiped out and technology was just able to advance on its own. Very, very AI type
Okay.
of thing. That, and I've heard of it in the sense of humans are inside the cars, but they're using like some AI technology to live through the cars and be able to do all these great things, and I suppose it's in a way for them to live longer. But again, a lot of these are far-fetched, and I thought they were still pretty cool to mention. I don't know if that's all I have for cars, but there's one for Up that I don't know if you heard, but when he starts flying away in his house for the first time, when Fredrickson starts doing that, they consider that being like the start of his journey to the afterlife.
Yeah, I
Have you
have
heard that one?
that one. That one I'm more familiar with. Yeah, that he
Yeah,
passes away in his house, and
which I thought was, a lot of these are very bittersweet to me. Where it's I'm thinking, yeah, I don't, I don't think it makes sense for so and so and so, but rather I don't know, I find them interesting, so I humor it.
yeah,
There's something I'm like, oh wow, that's artistically deep. I'm down for that.
right. Um, I
Are
love
there any that
that.
you know? Any
Yeah,
Disney theories?
so I have an interesting one that I actually found the other day that I had never heard before, but I am in love with. So Disney ties everything together, right?
Yeah,
We all know, or
not as well
most,
as Pixar, I think, but
yeah, but most of us know that like the parents from Frozen are also Tarzan's parents.
I have a little gripe with that, but
Okay,
but
what's the gripe? Because I want to hear it
well,
first.
because there was a British ship in Tarzan, and they're from a completely different kingdom. Like I mean the parents from Frozen from a different kingdom.
Okay, yeah, I see that. I can see that. But anyway, that's one of them. Also,
But I know the creator or the director does consider it canon. So
yeah, and then also Rapunzel from Tangled
right,
appears at the coronation, and so they're in the same universe.
yeah, I like that
Stuff
one.
like that. But here's one that's interesting that I had never heard before. So this is a Pixar theory, but Boo from
Oh,
Monsters Inc.
yep,
Do
that's
you
the big Pixar theory.
like what? I had
Yeah,
never heard this. But
that one blew
Boo,
my mind.
Boo from Monsters Inc. is the witch from Brave,
Yeah,
and I'm like, okay. and then I heard it explained.
let's
and I was
go.
like, I bought into it. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Because as she was growing up, she remembered Sully, of
Yeah,
course, and wanted to find him, and she knew that doors were portals into that
right.
world, and she managed to find her way back into Brave, which I thought was interesting. But yeah.
Yeah, and I've seen, because I've heard of that theory, and I've looked into it a lot in the past few years, and there are some that try to go even deeper in it,
Yeah.
in which like her wanting to get back in contact with Sully, kind of triggers and does this whole chain reaction that sets off all these other films in the process.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
So another one that I heard that was fantastic, and I wholeheartedly believe this, is that Aladdin is in the future.
oh, okay, I've heard that one.
Yeah. So Aladdin, even though they use swords and they look as though they're in an ancient sort of civilization or an older civilization,
Yeah,
has to be set in the future because of the actual dialogue in the film.
yeah,
Because the genie says that the genie has been trapped in his lamp for 10,000 years. And then he references a style of clothing used in the 3rd century.
right.
So, in order for him to know the style of clothing in the 3rd century, this would have to be at least 10,000 years after the 3rd century.
Yeah.
And so I love that one.
No, yeah, I thought that one was pretty cool.
yeah, that's interesting.
It also proves that technology is cyclical.
Yes, it does. Yeah, I definitely liked the Aladdin one. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Did you? I mean, it's not much of a theory, but because it was actually just confirmed with the creators, but they ended up cutting it for whatever reason. Was that the peddler at the beginning of Aladdin is actually the genie,
Oh,
because yeah. Well,
was
number
that
one, because I mean
not a thing
that
was
yeah,
known?
that's
I thought
that-
that was
'cause-
100%. Like,
but they were gonna make it more more concrete originally, where at the very end, it closes with the peddler ending the whole story, and you see him shapeshift into the genie, and which I think would have been a cool ending, but you know
It's
Little bit
still
of
the
a little
same.
bit of it. Yeah, it's the same.
I thought that was the thing. I thought that.
Yeah, no, I
the
100%
person telling the story was the
believe
genie.
that.
Yeah, I knew that. Well, it's Robin Williams' voice.
Yeah.
You know.
And you
so
still have like like even his outfit had like the same color scheme. It was him.
It was the genie.
Same number of fingers.
What?
He
Speaking
was-
about the Simpsons.
Same number of fingers.
Oh.
I'll touch upon those after.
Yeah. Right.
But there was this other one that was like Gaston was the hunter that killed Bambi's mom.
Yep.
There's
I've
that.
heard that one too, which makes sense too because Bambi isn't like set in a location other than
Right.
the woods. Like you don't get
Or even time period.
Yeah, you don't get a crystal clear location or time period, so that could be anywhere.
And even if in the prologue they use the same animation, the same footage from Bambi, the Bambi's mom drinking from the
Oh
river.
yeah.
So they use like the same animation cells for that scene.
That's clever. I see that. I didn't know. That's a detail that slipped by me. But that's all.
But yeah, no, there was and there was one for Finding Nemo that I thought was just depressing, in which it's there is no Nemo. Like it's just a manifestation of Marlin's grief.
Yeah.
Because it starts with like him with denial, not wanting him to go to school, and then he's arguing with him, so there's anger and like and how it just keeps stair stepping until the very end where
Acceptance.
Acceptance.
Yeah.
And so but then again, Finding Dory kind of disproved it and all because
Well, yeah.
but
Well,
I thought it was just kind of I don't know, that was kind of dark.
I like that conspiracy theory, but
I like the
here's
concept
the
of it.
thing, what it is it's just a good plot device for a film.
Yeah.
Like, in this case we know because of Finding Dory that Nemo is real, but the story was about Marlin dealing with grief, and he manifested that through finding his son, but still it was about his grief. He was
still going through the stages of grief.
He was still 100% going through the stages of grief with the loss due to the barracuda in the very beginning,
Which was, I don't know, like that's just absolutely genius.
Yeah, it's just a great plot device.
Yeah.
Pixar does that all the time. I mean,
they know what they're doing.
Yeah, I feel like there are really deep life elements to all of the Pixar movies.
Yeah.
And especially now with the creator, Pete Docter, with the creator of Inside Out and Soul. I mean, they're just diving deep into those adult things. So yeah, but I think it's always been there. I think Toy Story strives to do that. I think.
Oh my God,
Bugs
yes,
Life
Toy Story.
did that as well. But I think they all do that. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Toy
Except for
Story is
maybe
another.
Cars 2.
Yeah.
Pixar's gonna come after us for like ragging on Cars 2 so much, but they have to know that it was their worst movie. They
know.
They
know.
They have to know.
They're like, hey, all right, fine, yes.
Okay, you get this one.
But speaking of Toy Story, one of my other the other one that I really do believe is is it the same one where like Andy's mom is Jesse's owner?
Yeah, that's
no,
my
dude,
favorite.
I wholeheartedly believe that.
And so here are the facts in my mind. In the very first Toy Story movie, Andy is wearing Jesse's hat, not
exactly.
Woody's, so that doesn't make sense.
People have said that like it's missing the white band, but I'm like that's because it's years old. The white band fell off, but you still see the imprint. You still see that.
You still see the imprint, and also it's white lace. And so even if it weren't like missing after years, as Andy, I'd probably take it off.
Yeah, exactly.
That if I'm Andy in that situation, I would take it off.
Right.
So there's that, and then also there's the key moment where Andy's mom, or Jesse's owner at this point, donates a bunch of stuff, and we very clearly see that Jessie is gone, but the hat is not.
Is not in the box.
She kept it. Meaning that she had to have kept it. So yeah.
Plus, it's so sweet how full circle, ended up her coming back to her in some capacity or in some sense.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I always wonder about the parents and how it's never revealed what their feelings are at the end of Toy
No.
Story 2. Like it's never revealed.
Dude, you
like,
don't even get her name to, for that matter.
Well, yeah, but it's also never revealed how they reconcile with the fact that new toys are in Andy's room.
Yeah.
Because Andy says, "Thanks, Mom. These are
I-
awesome." And it's never like, okay, but in our world, we know that Andy's mom didn't put those new toys there.
Right. And that bugs me in the same way that all these Christmas movies bug me. How nobody just questions that Santa Claus dropped these off, when the whole point of of most of these movies is you got to believe in Santa Claus. Sure, granted,
Yeah.
those are the rules
And
of the movie.
The rules
Believe in Santa Claus.
Yeah, the rules
But
of
how
the
do the
movie-
parents not question that they're these toys that none of them bought?
Exactly, and the rules of the movie dictate that the parents don't believe.
Don't get me wrong, I love the Santa Claus franchise, and I'll stand by it with with tooth and nail. But
Yeah, so how do they...
that thing just always bothers me in Christmas movies.
Yeah, it does. It is kind of funny though that you bring that up, but yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
Did you? Okay, I have one last Disney one, but I don't know if you've heard, but there's this.
That's true. That's true. Pleasantly Purple.
Yeah,
Shoes appeared at our
Weirder
house.
things have appeared at the house.
No,
so
that is
granted,
true. Things
granted,
just
yes.
happen, man. I don't know how they got here.
What was I saying? Oh, so
Yeah.
there was this. For me, this was one of the darker ones. It's simple, but I don't know. It rubbed me the wrong way. But was that in Frozen? Kristoff is wearing Sven's mother's pelt. Because I mean, they say the pelt he's using, it's got to be reindeer, I guess. But then they said the fact that they're very close with each other, probably because of the scent of his mother. And I thought that's just messed up.
That is kind of weird, but also probably accurate.
Like
That's
it
just
makes
the way
sense,
the culture
yes, but
is,
ooh, yeah. But it hit me in a way I wasn't
Little dark,
expecting it
yeah.
to. Yeah.
Oops. Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Gives a
all.
gives a whole new light to that song that Kristoff sings too. Reindeers are better than people.
Ooh, no.
Sven, don't you know it's true? Yes, people can beat you and hurt you and cheat you. Every one of
Oh.
them's bad, except you.
Okay.
And now we're in a dark place.
I want I want like this whole fandom to just have stories of Kristoff being a serial killer.
Ooh. Yeah.
No, like
It's true.
you gotta be really messed up to sing that duet with a reindeer that you're best friends with.
Yeah. Add to the song list. Will do.
Yes.
Actually, I should. I'm gonna write that down. I'm not gonna lie. That is
Good.
that is going on the song list. It's a 15-second song, but it's going on the song list.
Either way, that's all the Disney stuff I saved.
That's all the Disney stuff. Okay, sounds.
There were a lot, but I knew that if I were to write down all of them, it would have to be its own episode, its own stream.
Yes. Sorry, I'm writing down reindeer are better than
Mhm.
people. I can't speak and write at the same time.
That's okay, but we can definitely do a very heavily Disney-oriented one down the line.
Oh yeah, for
'Cause
sure.
there were so many.
So I have a couple quick things, and then
Go for it.
I know you even brought it up. You have some Simpsons stuff, which is
Yeah, it's a brief one too.
yeah. So I have some brief stuff. It is getting kind of late, so we should probably
Yeah,
wrap it up pretty soon.
I agree.
Although I could probably talk about conspiracy theories forever. Like I really enjoy these.
Now that we got the ball rolling.
Yeah, right.
And we're not interrupted.
Again, sorry about all of the disconnection issues and stuff like that. But here's the couple that I have that are just my mind-blowing to me. And you know, if they're real, we would never know.
Blow my mind, man. Let's go for it.
So there's simulation theory, which is that we're all in
Oh.
a simulation.
Okay, you know what? That's great because I just realized that's one that I skipped in my notes. I have that written in there. It's also a brief one, but
Yeah.
I'll tag along with you.
Yeah, so simulation theory, that's great. I love it.
Thank you.
Simulation theory is that we're all players in this cosmic video game, right?
Right.
Which is fantastic, a great theory. It's very Matrix-like, you know, the world as we know it is not our true reality, but something, a computer program.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you, man. Like I'm not the tinfoil hat kind of guy, but you know, in the past couple months, I've definitely been thinking, all right, something here is off. You know, this has got to be a simulation for how perfectly certain things happen,
Right?
or unperfectly.
Yeah, it
for
is
that
kind
matter.
of weird. But like the things that people use to kind of prove this or justify it in some way
Yeah.
are the Mandela effect.
Dude.
How
okay.
we can all say that, oh yeah, the Monopoly Man has, is it the Monopoly Man has a monocle?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
That's what they
the
were.
Monopoly Man has a monocle, and you know everybody knows that. But the Monopoly Man does not have a monocle. In fact, that's the Planters Peanut guy, possibly, that we're thinking of.
Yeah.
But everybody thinks the Monopoly Man has a monocle.
The other sophisticated cartoon.
Ah, yes, the other one.
Along with Scrooge McDuck and Richie Rich. They're the 1% in the cartoon world.
Ah, yes. Richie Rich wasn't a cartoon, was it?
Yes, he was.
No way. I thought it was
Yeah.
Macaulay Culkin.
Well, yeah, the movie was made, but it was originally. I think
know
actually.
it was originally a cartoon.
I think it may have been actually a comic strip and then cartoon, but I could have that wrong. But it was definitely had cartoon origins.
Huh, that's cool. I had no idea. I just saw the movie with Macaulay Culkin.
Which was great, by the way.
Yeah. But so anyway, they used the Mandela effect, which must be some glitch in the Matrix because everyone
I love those.
Everyone believes that the Monopoly Man has a monocle, but he does not. So
yeah.
And then they use deja vu, of course, which I know the science behind, but I love the idea that deja vu is again a glitch in the Matrix, and I love that deja vu is then a glitch in the Matrix, and
I love that deja vu is a glitch in the Matrix.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to do it twice. There was.
Me gusta mucho que el deja vu es un. Somehow he did it in Spanish.
El Caboose can. I can't even remember it. Anyway.
El caboose can cuenta.
Can cuenta. The caboose can count? What? It's like Spanglish, and it doesn't make any sense.
Dude, I want a follow me around kind of reality show. It's just you trying to get through Mexico. I would pay to see that. That's some reality TV show I'd watch.
So anyway, they use the Mandela effect, they use deja vu, and then they also use the fact that straight up, this is science, this is reality. They use the fact that DNA can actually be encoded with computer viruses. And that is science. That
No,
can't
I
be
know.
done.
I've heard a couple of these.
So the way that they prove that we are in fact in a computer program and we are like avatars in a video game is that our DNA can be actually encoded with computer viruses. And to me, I'm like, yup, we're all video game characters. If that's science, then I don't know anything.
I think it may have been Musk. It may have been Elon that said, I love how first name basis it.
Yeah,
I love how, I think it was how Elon Musk said something along the lines of, we're about as certain that this is a reality as we are that this is not a reality. And I was like, don't do this to me, no.
Stop, I'm confused.
All right, fine, I'll buy a Tesla. Just stop.
Right. So then that's all for that theory. Do you have anything to add on that?
No,
one?
that you covered basically all I had.
So of course there's the reptilians theory that
oh, dude,
the Clinton family, the Bush family, and Queen Elizabeth herself are all reptilian life forms that have invaded our planet and are rising to power.
Yeah.
they're shape shifting, of course, because otherwise, why would they look like Queen Elizabeth and the Clintons and the Bushes?
Yes.
But you know that they're reptilian by looking directly into their eyes.
Yes.
And then, of course, there's the fact that Wingdings predicted 9/11.
Oh, dude, that one gave me chills.
Yeah, except when you open a Word document and actually type in what they said, and it's not a thing. Like, Wingdings didn't actually do that.
Well, now I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not, but
Man, Wingdings didn't predict 9/11. No, but Wingdings.
it's that part of the show.
Yeah, right? No, besides, 9/11 was an inside job.
Oh yeah, that's a whole thing on its own.
Yeah, that's a fantastic conspiracy theory as well. Gotta love that. Of course, we didn't land on the moon. It was a staged
That was a big one,
moon
yeah.
landing. You know, all of that kind of stuff. And then
Cow burned down Chicago.
is that a real thing? I
I
had
think
no
so.
idea.
I think, yeah.
That's terrifying. And then I have one more conspiracy theory that is not a conspiracy theory per se, as it is just a manipulation of reality and something that people believe but are not sure of. And so I kind of threw it
Is it
into
QAnon?
this category. No.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean,
Jewish space lasers are not.
that's a whole episode in and of itself.
Oh, jeez. No, I was specifically talking about something called the chronostatic illusion.
What? Okay.
Yes, and I'm about to get into some deep schist, which is a geological term.
That rocks, man.
Yeah. So,
That's a sedimentary topic. I don't think I can.
sedimentary topic.
I'm sorry. I'm very ignorant about this kind of stuff.
Get
I'll
out!
stop.
Get out!
Read a book.
So anyway, the chronostatic illusion is the realization that time isn't real.
Okay.
And it's not. I mean, time is
man-made.
Man-made, and so
Yeah.
it is genuinely a construct. But what's even funnier about the chronostatic illusion is that specifically the chronostatic illusion is when you think about the example that was presented was because there are a lot of hold on, let me explain this correctly.
Yeah.
There are a lot of chrono blank illusions. There are a lot of them, and I'll briefly discuss some of them.
Okay.
But the one that most intrigued me was the chronostatic illusion, which is the idea that you think of your parents as being older than you.
Yes. Okay.
Because they are.
Yeah.
But then when you look at a picture of your parents from when they first got married, and they're actually 24 years old, and you're 26, you still think of them as being older than you.
Yeah.
And it's this chronostatic illusion. It's the illusion that they will always be and have always been older than you. And looking back on them, you still have those ideas in mind. And so you still have that experience. And so when you think, oh, my
Dude,
parents
when I
got
see
married,
pictures of my parents, you know, at the same age that I am, I think they're like in their 30s. That's
yeah, exactly. And that's the idea, is you always project them older than what you are, even when in pictures they're not. I mean, in that period of time, they were younger than you. And
they also can grow a fucking great mustache.
Yeah, talk to my
And
talk to my dad
I'm still
about that.
I'm not over that.
Right? But it's that realization that causes you to kind of understand the concept that nobody has their shit together, and you never will. Like, it's that kind of thing that's like, oh, you know, my parents had me when they were this age, and I'm older than that now. So maybe, you know, maybe it's weird. But anyway, the other chrono illusions, which are really cool, are the illusion. I forget exactly what post. No, the opposite of prefix.
Suffix.
Suffix. Thank you, English-speaking person.
De nada. empanada.
El Caboose can cuenta. So anyway, the other chrono suffix is the concept that time moves faster as you get older.
Okay.
And that comes from the theory of when you reach the age of 1 year is one whole of your lifetime. And then immediately, once you reach the age of 2, 1 year is one half of your lifetime.
Okay, yeah.
So it only takes half as much time. And when when you're 30, 1 year is 1/30th of your lifetime. And so it goes by super quickly.
Yeah.
And people have actually documented the fact that until you're about 50 or 60 years old, it feels like the time you spent in your 20s or teens was longer than the time you spent this decade. In your 50s or 60s.
Yeah.
But then it seems to taper off. And the belief there is that more memorable things happened to you during your teens and 20s than happened to you in your 60s and 70s, because by the 60s and 70s and 80s you're pretty much doing the same things.
Yeah.
You're just living your life. And so this whole concept of time, mentally speaking, is gone for you. You have nothing, you know? Another interesting chrono illusion is the illusion that when your flight is delayed, so say you're going on Christmas vacation, right?
I'm going on Christmas vacation.
Excellent. But unfortunately for you, your flight is delayed 4 hours.
Oh, man.
Those are the longest 4 hours of your life.
Yeah.
Right? And then, once you get on Christmas vacation, you're having a blast with your family. And your entire week goes by like that, right?
Yep.
But then, here's the catch. A year later, you recall that week. Now that 4 hours seems like nothing. But the week, with all of these memories, seems so long.
God.
Why is that? And it's this idea that when you mentally have the opportunity, I suppose, to think about time, it lasts longer. And so when you're thinking about the 4 hours that you have to spend in the airport delayed, then it lasts longer. But then when you're with your family and you don't have the opportunity to think about the time you're spending, it goes by super quickly. But then when you're reminiscing on those memories, you don't have any memories of the 4 hours. Nothing meaningful happened to you within those 4 hours. So your brain took those 4 hours and said, that's not important. And your brain threw away that time, so it seems like nothing to you.
Yeah.
And it's just this fantastic theory.
I love that.
I love
so
it
much.
too. I don't know that it's truly a conspiracy theory, but like when I heard about it, I was like, I have to talk about this.
Right. No, that's definitely some worthwhile stuff.
For sure. I absolutely love it. Time is a construct. Time isn't real. Do whatever you want.
Speaking of time, are you okay? Because this is my last thing I'm going to talk about. We can wrap it up too.
Yeah.
But speaking of time, not so much a conspiracy theory. It's also like just trailing off into like a little off topic now, so it's good for the closer.
Yeah.
But The Simpsons, you know, like I another thing that I kind of came upon during my, I guess,
Simpsons
research.
Is a conspiracy theory.
The Simpsons itself is a conspiracy. I mean, like they have predicted so many things.
I mean, yellow people for real? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, they have predicted.
Hepatitis shit is that. But no, yeah, no, like just to just to list a few. These are just things I wanted to touch. We're like, of course, you know, even way back, you still had the Jetsons and everything with video calling and what have you. But The Simpsons started like really detailing in on it. Like back in '95, you know, there was one of those few, you know, flash forward episodes in which Lisa's an adult and she's trying to talk to her mom, but you know, she says, I gotta use the, oh no, her mom is like, you know, like lying about something, but she's visually she's lying,
Yeah.
and then Lisa says, it's a picture phone, Mom. I can see you. And the best thing is when they predict stuff like technology, they also correctly predict just what's wrong with it, like autocorrect, or just all these different things, like with your things that go wrong with your smartwatch. They are able to make even predict that. So I find that very interesting.
Yeah. And as much as I love this conspiracy theory that, the Simpsons writers are knowledgeable about the beyond,
Right.
and about the future, as much as I love that conspiracy theory, I'm also very rooted in reality where I don't believe that they are knowledgeable of the
Right.
beyond, but
I
rather...
play devil's advocate and go and say, they inspired these other people to do this.
Yeah, and even when even when I think that that's just a wild prediction that they managed to get right, I don't necessarily think that it was a prediction. I think that it was just educated writing. I think they were just very, very talented writers, especially when it comes to technology. Like, okay, if we go into the future and have smart watches, what's going to be the problem with them?
Oh, yeah.
Just like the guy from Star Trek invented the flip phone, just like that, the writers of The Simpsons did the same thing. They projected into the future what they thought technology would be, and then they added problems with it that were just sensical, and so that's what I really appreciate about The Simpsons.
The beauty of it is that it stems from them wanting to make something funny out of it.
Yeah.
They still want to poke fun at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like that's the beauty of reality, just like how funny reality is.
It's just purely delightful. I love it personally.
Dude, we could do a whole episode on The Simpsons, but like also a couple ones was the faulty voting machines. This is back in like 2008, I think, where Homer was trying to, like, it was for Treehouse of Horror, but Homer was trying to vote for Obama, and like he clearly pressed Obama, but it voted for McCain or Rodney, I think. Romney, I mean.
Romney,
He voted for Romney.
I knew what you meant.
And so, I was gonna say Mitt, but but eventually he says, "I gotta tell everyone," and the machine just eats them alive. There was a flash forward in which Lisa is president, and she says, "All right, we have a lot to pick up on after the Trump administration," and so she says, Milhouse, how's our budget looking? And it's a graph that's pointing all the way down and says, "We're broke."
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, I love that.
But no, those were just a couple of things I just wanted to touch.
Yeah, I wanted to circle back.
They also predicted like a Nobel Peace Prize winner too.
Oh, did
like
they?
6 years in advance, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah, that is crazy. You think it's coincidence, but again, it is coincidence, but it's really,
educated thinking.
Really talented writing, in my opinion. I did want to circle back to that time thing because I was gonna say something, but then I forgot.
Go for it. Floor is yours.
So people don't understand a lot of concepts of time because of things. So,
like, you mean?
I mean like
physical things,
physical objects. Yes.
Oh,
physical
okay.
objects or media especially. So you might not believe that Charlie Chaplin lived long enough to see Star Wars.
Oh, dude, those things mess me up.
Right? But, because you think of Charlie Chaplin as living in the black and white era.
Yes, it's silent film.
He lived long enough to see Star Wars.
Yeah.
You might not believe that Harriet Tubman lived in both the times of Thomas Jefferson and Ronald Reagan.
Dude, okay. Have you heard of this other one where it's Martin Luther King and Frank
were born on the same
day. I mean, not same day, but same year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, that and oh my God, it was Julie. No, who was it? Was it Barbara Walters?
Barbara Walters has lived for like.
Was that it? I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was like they paired, like not paired, but they they grouped these three people and saying they're the same age because they were born in the same year.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I don't think it was Barbara Walters.
I don't think so either.
If you're
but
talking about, if you're still talking about Anne Frank.
no, I'll look it up later. But
Yeah.
definitely, you know, you got these three people who, I mean, one of them is living still, and you know,
Yeah.
the other two died at different times in history, but they would have been the same age today.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that Queen Elizabeth, who we now know as an older woman who lives in the age of color, and
Was a
Marilyn
fox.
Monroe
I'm-
are the same
Sorry.
age. If
Right.
Marilyn Monroe is still alive, they were born the same year. You know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But the one that got me is the one that I said I would circle back to. So you know, you said you were in your 20s.
Yeah.
So you're almost 26 years old. I'm 25 years old. You know what that means about us? We
In
have
5 years, we're gonna have to do the 30-something show.
Yes. No, what that means for us is that we have lived for 10% of the United States history.
Oh my God.
Yeah. We've lived
What?
We've lived for 10% of United States entire history.
Oh wow.
So
That's something I never put into perspective.
yeah, if you're over 25 years old, then if you're in your 50s, you've lived for 20% of American history.
That's crazy.
So, you don't think about this because you think of all of the things that have happened since 1776, All of these huge events that have happened, and you tend to disassociate yourself from those events because of how long ago they happened. But in reality, America is a very young country.
Oh
And
yeah.
even being just 25 years old, I've lived for 10% of its history.
Yeah.
I am a big part of its history,
What a history, dude. The past few years could be like 3 textbooks right there.
Right. So I love that concept and everything. But we've gone on for far too long. It is
Right.
past 11 o'clock at night. It's time for bed, folks.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, I think I am going to wrap this up. But I do want to say thank you so much for all of you out there watching. I do want to thank again Echo the author for the follow, and Herbert Woodbury for the follow, Legend of Linz for that raid, and Matt, thank you again for the 5 bits. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
So much.
But with that, Pablo, do you want to take us out?
Yes, absolutely. So, guys, it was nice going down the rabbit hole with all of you, and I'm hoping we can do this again in some other capacity. And we'll see you next week. Don't forget to see our pages. And as the good old-fashioned Mexicans down here would say, queso con carne.
I've known and I've known some. Until I first met you, I was lonesome. And when you came inside, dear, my heart grew light and this whole world seemed new to me. You're really swell, I have to admit you deserve expressions that really fit you. And so I've racked my brain hoping to explain all the things that